Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog. It's now Friday the 17th of December, 1 week till Christmas, or 1 week to Christmas Eve, and then an extra day for Christmas Day, but who's counting? So, yeah, it's been an interesting old week. Last weekend, much milder. Saturday didn't particularly do very much. Well, I did. But nothing that involved leaving the house, fortunately. Just putting together the new gaming PC for my boy, which always is fun building a PC from components, especially when they're not wanting, the bits aren't wanting to click in, and you don't really want to put loads of pressure on a PC motherboard, especially when it's an expensive PC motherboard. But anyway, I got it all together, up and running. It does look, I mean, before you even run the thing, it looks very pretty because it's got RGB lighting for the front three fans and the top case fan, which is controlled through the motherboard, mystic lighting. So you can have it pulsing in single colours and all sorts of weird and wonderful variations. The Corsair RAM is RGB as well, and of course the GTX 3070 graphics card, which is the crystalline edition. So yes, it's got crystal LEDs throughout that as well. So, and I actually managed to cable manage this one a lot better because it hard drive what bays in the bottom. So it actually looks quite a nice tidy build for once, which is pretty good for me. But I'll probably do a post on that at some point if I ever get round to it. I'm just not sure at the moment. But Sunday, yeah, just had some bits and pieces to do, finishing off stuff. So it was a pretty steady away day, and then back to work this week. So the weather's been generally this week better. Been a little milder, less rain or hardly any rain. Had some quite clear days, so not so bad at all weather-wise. It's frosty this morning. It's quite chilly, so I have had this on, but I managed to get it cooled back down enough that I can just keep the heat in now, as it were. Let it radiate the heat out and warm the place up a bit. So, yeah, so this week it's been busy, but there is a definite downturn, which can only be attributed to the Omicron. Is it an Omicron? COVID variant, which has kind of gripped the whole, well, I think it's gripped the whole world really, after its discovery in South Africa. It certainly spread all around the world. But the UK is particularly now gripped by it. We had 88,000 new cases yesterday. Obviously Plan B has brought in some restrictions. Working from home has been advised where possible. Mask wearing in retail outlets. But I think the main problem has been we're not in an official lockdown, but it's kind of like the government has turned it into an optional lockdown, as it were. So, you know, the way they're talking about how quickly it's spreading, how dangerous it is, and whatever else, and they're saying, obviously, use caution and whatever else, is causing people to cancel Christmas party bookings, stop going out to events that they would have gone out to, etc. So even though there isn't a lockdown, certainly for the hospitality sector, there is, because people are just deciding not to go out because of it. And obviously that's a big problem for hospitality, because at the moment there is no financial backup because there's no lockdown, so they're in a bit of a sticky situation. And it has kind of followed this week that a lot of our wholesale customer sales have declined, where in the run-up, we were doing big volumes of large amounts of coffee into the sort of the commercial sector, the cafes and restaurants and whatnot. That has shown a distinct downturn, which is partly probably due to a lower amount of trade, but also the fact that there's less confidence that we won't end up ending in a lockdown soon, so there's no point buying in a load of stock if you're not going to be able to sell it. So I imagine many will run down to the last reserves before ordering. Not that it hasn't been a very busy week, exceptional week for White Rose coffee orders. They've been flying through. Obviously, the retail side of White Rose powers on because we're supplying people at home who enjoy drinking nice coffee like the Kenya AA Blue Mountain I'm drinking now, which is delicious. So, so it's still been a busy week. We still have a lot to do. On to next week, it should. I think it's going to slow down because, again, the fallout of Omicron COVID is going to really impact a lot more of our commercial customers. So I think we'll see a real drop down in sales next week. It'll quieten off. There's going to be the odd retail, but from Monday you're really getting to the point where anything you order to be shipped, it's going to be sketchy if it's going to turn up or not. If it's a FedEx next day, yes, that's going to be alright, but Hermes wise, they seem to be struggling under the strain at the moment, so it could be that there will be some delays, and then it'll end up things will start arriving after Christmas, because it doesn't take much. It's 1 day's delay causes a big problem in the system, and then it all backs up. So we'll see how we get on. One bit of good news I don't know if it's good news for me or not actually, really. I managed to go for my COVID booster jab last night. Booked it Tuesday. I've been waiting for the text, but I was kind of badgered into booking it before the text. So I booked it Tuesday, and Wednesday I got the text to book it. I went last night to 10 to 6 Jacobs Well in Bradford, because that worked well. I could leave here at 5, get there in time, and I thought it'd be nice and quiet that time, I won't be queuing for hours, but there was actually a massive queue. And it only took half an hour to get through the queue, but just half an hour in a queue feels like a lifetime, doesn't it? Because you just stood socially distanced in a mask. So I had my jab. It did hurt, but I've so far got no ill effects other than it hurt when I was jabbed. Had the Moderna booster. So in theory, I am now extra protected against Omicron. Again, there's kind of mixed messages about whether it's particularly bad or if it's just a bit more like catching a cold or whatever else. But obviously the bigger issue, it's not so much what it does to you, but it's who you spread it to when you get it. That's kind of the thing, isn't it? It's sort of who you pass it on to, whether it's someone who's elderly who maybe hasn't been able to be vaccinated, or someone with poor health. So kind of trying to hold it back, not get it in the first place, which to be fair, I'm a bit of a hermit, so I try and avoid going out at all costs, so possibly I will avoid it that way anyway. But we'll see what happens. I better do Mr. Analysis because time is ticking by and there are things to do. to do. Mr. Nelson's words, and then I better get on with my day. So, Mr. Nelson says, my thing to talk about in your vlog. Have you seen the new garage in Shelf, which has replaced the Volkswagen garage shop called Car Shop Express? Yes, you can't miss it. It's a great big garage full of cars that you can go and buy. Do you like Happy Valley? Funny enough, yeah. Family have been re-watching that, as you mention it. It's not bad, yeah. Have you seen the rare Disney comic book cartoon series called Gargoyles? Vaguely remember that, yes, I do. Earthworm and Jimmers, there's a new cartoon series soon. I had a Christmas party at Magpies on Thursday afternoon as I danced to Macarena, Let's Get Ready to Rumble, and Saturday night. Good selection there. Going to Christchurch for my dad from today. Sunday for Christmas shopping, okay. But that's not all. We will bid farewell to Andrew Marr, who's worked at the BBC One for 21 years, as the last episode of his Sunday Politics show will be on this Sunday, which he started presenting the programme in 2005 after when David Frost retired. Oh, well, there you are, Andrew Marr. Fabulous. Right, I'm off to do some work. So, have a good weekend, a week next week, getting ready for Christmas. And we'll see you in next week's coffee vlog. Okay, see you.